again, I was a 22-year-old lad. I'd never experienced anything like this before in my life, you know, and I'd never buried anyone, certainly not. You know, my mother's still around, my father's still around. So, you know, I'd never had to deal with a funeral, and, you know, one of the things you don't take into consideration is the cost as well. And, you know, at the time, you know, I worked on a big wage. I was, you know, manual labour job. Didn't earn a lot of money. The cost of the funeral was the equivalent to 3 months' wage for me. And, you know, like every middle class family, you know, I sort of lived to my means. So, you know, I didn't have this money just kicking about. I was only 22. So, you know, I didn't have this sort of money kicking about. And, you know, the company I worked for at the time, you know, it was a young company. They'd only been set up a couple of years. So, you know, there was only like 8 of us, and, you know, we had a really good team. You know, we had a little family thing going on. And, you know, they loaned me the money, you know, to pay for the costs. And, you know, they didn't question it or anything, you know. Always remember them for that. So yeah, we had him buried, paid the funeral costs, had to pay my work back pretty quick. So, you know, sort of skinted herself then for a fair few months. And, you know, I think it's one of them that you don't ever really recover from. And, you know, and how easy it is to plummet into that sort of debt spiral. You know, you owe money, so, you know, you have to borrow more money to cover your means, and then by the time you know it, you know, you owe everybody money, and, you know, you hardly have any money. And, you know, that the ripple effects that it has afterwards, you know, you've obviously, we still had barely and everything to feed, you know, ourselves to feed, house to pay, all that stuff, you know, we paid our bills and everything. And, you know, yeah, you know, that was years that afterwards, you know, it took a couple of months to pay some back, a couple more months after that to pay others back, and, you know, it went on for a couple of years after that. And obviously during this time, you know, Tracy caught on pretty quick, again, not long after Dylan. So Dylan was born the 8th of February. And then Jaden came on the 8th of February the following year. On the day, you couldn't write it. And, you know, it was first thing in the morning, he was raring to go. 6:30, I hadn't even got ready for work yet. You know, and that was it. She was like, babe, my water's broke. I knew it. I had, you know, it was already an emotional day. You know, this would have been it was the anniversary of, you know, our son's birth. You know, and in 20 days' time, we'd be mourning, you know, the day that he died. How are you supposed to feel on the birthday of your dead child? You know, it's normally a really happy day, but if they're not there, it's not an happy day. But then 1 year to the day, it happens again. 6:30 in the morning, water broke. She was full this time round. You know, she was due around that time anyway. I think she was due on, I think it was something like the 14th of Feb or something like that. So yeah, 8th of Feb, Dylan's birthday. Already our emotions are all over the place. 6:30 in the morning, he gets ready to go. 7:30 in the morning, I actually have to open up for work. So I had Tracy in the car, like I had got the car, but at that point, obviously I passed my test the year before, got my car the year after. So I had to go open up at work and let the boys in. So I've got Tracy in the car, gone to work first, let the boys in, gone down to hospital, and then yeah, everything was all normal. Tracy did dilate pretty quick. You know, then one of the most beautiful and most disgusting experiences of my life was the birth of Jaden. You know, all natural. Jaden came out. Now when Jaden came out, they took him. Tracy's on the bed there. They have this little incubator thing next to the bed, a bit further over in the corner. And Jaden comes out and there's nothing. No crying, no movement, no nothing. So they take Jaden, they put him on this incubator. There's an emergency button above this incubator and they are bashing this button. And you think, fuck, it's happening again. But then bang, she said, no, cancel that. He's alright, he's come round. And there was Jaden. There was Jaden. As you'll find out, he is beautiful. So, Tracy gone full term. Birth for Jaden. So Jaden was hitting all his milestones. We got a bit worried because he didn't really want to crawl, but one day he just got up and started walking. I think he was more determined to walk than he was to crawl. So he started to walk pretty quick. He had pretty good balance, you know, hitting all his milestones as he should, you know. But then at around the age of 2, we started noticing something wasn't quite right. He sort of seemed to freeze and stop developing more mentally. Obviously, physically, he's still developing, but mentally, something just seemed to cap it, and he froze. And he's still like that. Maybe slightly more developed now, maybe a 3-year-old, but he's like a massive 3-year-old. Non-verbal, very strong, and this is being a parent to an autistic child.